This week, Kyla and I are headed south to hunt with our good friend Will at his family's place in West Virginia. Hunting is about a lot of things for me: acquiring meat, connecting with the outdoors, and so much more. But high on that list is the camaraderie of hunting with friends and family. The quest to find and harvest game can bring people together like few other activities I've ever taken part in. So join us as we travel out of state for a mid-October archery hunt that results in my first opportunity to take a buck on film with a bow.
I came from the mud, there's dirt on my hands. Strong like a tree, there's roots where I stand. Oh, I've been running from the law. Hope they won't shoot me down soon.
Man, what a beautiful morning. We're back down here in West Virginia. Big thanks again to Will for the invite back. Been looking forward to this hunt since about the moment it ended last year. And we're back at the scene of the crime. If you watched last season, this was the stand from which I experienced the most chaotic 20 minutes of hunting that I may ever experience. From a couple beautiful long bears being a few steps from offering a shot, to coyotes chasing them off, to then a shooter buck walking down the field edge as I was trying to call the turkeys back in. All this while the camera batteries died. It was insane. But we're back again, fully charged camera, and already this morning 3 deer passed through right at first light. I couldn't even film. One was right behind me by itself that I think may have been a buck, so gonna sit tight. It's 36 degrees, October 10th, just beautiful morning. Hopefully the deer are gonna keep moving. That spike just came back out, down here where the doe was feeding for a while. But I think it's best we keep the camera facing this way. You can see the sun is real bright. I think the doe saw the light glaring off the camera lens, because all of a sudden she looked right at us, but then just kind of scooted away, and I can still see her going, just walking up the path. But pretty cool. It's a little after 9 o'clock. They're still moving. We'll see if that continues.
The spike would hang around for another 10 minutes or so, but eventually he'd move off, and I called it a morning. That afternoon, I'd head to another familiar stand, overlooking an oak flat where we spotted both bucks and gobblers the year before.
What a difference that about 8 hours makes. It was 36 this morning. It's about 70 right now. We're sitting on an oak flat here. If you watched last season, we hunted this very same stand, and we ended up seeing 3 different bucks, one real good, definite shooter. So I'm curious to see what's going to be happening this year. That's the main purpose behind tonight's hunt. Just kind of observe, see what happens, see if the deer's still moving through here. I saw one on my walk in, about 200 yards up the road take off. It's only about 3:45, so I'd call that a plus. Just seeing one 2.5 hours before dark, so we'll sit back, relax, and see if any deer want to come through tonight on a much warmer evening.
Before long, a couple gobblers made their way through. Though, as it turned out, calling to them maybe wasn't the ideal move.
I probably shouldn't have done that. I thought maybe they had caught me moving. The one kind of looked like it saw me turning the camera on, and pretty sure they did, but I've had success with that, particularly in the fall. I kind of wonder if, because last year there were like 10 of them, if maybe those two had got separated by a coyote, another hunter, whatever, and maybe a little bit of calling could have brought them this way, but that's real interesting now. That's this year and last year, those gobblers went through approximately right there. Well, I'd say that's pretty well a wrap for day one. I do think I got what I wanted out of this sit, though, just getting to see the deer and the turkeys still right about where we saw them last year, 100 yards out or so. So hopefully we can kind of take that and run, set up over in that area, maybe tomorrow, and see what we can do from there, but not a bad deal. Saw a deer morning and evening. Hopefully next time they're a little closer or a little bigger.
Little did I know that I wouldn't be returning to that location for the rest of the week. The following morning, just 20 minutes into legal light, I glanced over my shoulder and to my surprise, a shooter buck was walking right up the path. As I drew back, my arm caught on my safety harness strap. The extra motion to find room to reach full draw has the buck staring me down just 20 yards away, and with no shot opportunity. Fortunately, the leaves that prevented my shot also kept me hidden, and he continues on.
I can't even breathe. That came out of nowhere. I just turned around. He was walking right down the road. I stood up. I couldn't get drawn back all the way. I hit my harness. I don't even know if it was on film yet. I hope the shot was on film. It should have been. But he saw me struggle to get the bow all the way back. And I just had to stand and wait forever. And then finally he kept going. That looked perfect. Oh my God. I'm not sure if that was the big rate that we had on trail camera that Will showed me. It may have been.
It was a buck that I was happy to shoot. He looked absolutely smoked. I don't even know if I can keep standing up. Wow. It is 7:34. It's been decently light for all of 20 minutes. Unbelievable. The same stand as last year. I'm gonna watch that footage back on the camera, send Will a text, and probably go take a look at the sign. I don't think he's going far. October 11th, baby. I haven't even done an interview yet. I'm shaking so bad. The only camera I have with any amount of tripod is the GoPro, so you have to bear with the interesting shot angle we have going on here, but blood looks good. Only 5 yards from where we shot him. I'm not sure where the arrow's at. I don't know if it was a full pass through and went down into the brush or if it was still in his other side. I guess we'll find that out when we go and look. But I think Will's on his way over. I'm pretty sure he's not far. And I think 7:30 a.m. October 11th just became a day and time I'm never gonna forget. That was unbelievable. I'm not sure. I think that might have been the one from the trail camera.
What's that?
I think that was the one from the trail camera.
Think so?
It looked like it.
Did he come all the way up here?
As far as I could see, he went up the road.
And so the track began.
Is he going straight? Because there's some over here. Yeah, it looks like he went this way.
The sign confirmed what I believed to be true at the time of the shot. He wasn't going far.
It's a good deer regardless. And it looks like you smoked him.
I'm actually further back than I thought, but he was quartering by the time I could get a shot.
Awesome job, dude. That's awesome.
Thank you.
It was so dark on me and Jazzy last night. I don't know if that's the deer that we saw or not.
Oh, really?
Couldn't really tell you.
I'm gonna have to look at the pictures again, because the one that I was thinking had the long tine on this side and the shorter
one.
three there. Quite as much mass as I thought, but I ain't complaining.
The body on him is unreal.
I was confident he was shooter level age.
Yeah.
Antlers looked good enough to me, and I didn't have time to make much else of an assessment.
What a morning. October 11th, it was October 12th last year when I had the fiasco from the same stand with coyotes, turkeys, and another shooter buck. This year it worked out. I can't thank you enough. This was awesome.
Appreciate you coming down, bud. I'm glad there was a little, not really redemption from last year, but it's kind of poetic justice that it was the same stand.
It felt that way, it really did. I said, I think on opening morning, I couldn't wait to come back specifically to that spot because of everything that had happened. It just felt like it was going to work, and here we are.
I don't even think I had woken up yet in my stand when you texted me that you had shot him, so he come to pretty early.
Yeah, first buck I've ever shot
with a bow on film too, and pretty neat way to do that out of state, hunting with friends and getting to just take a week off and just hunt. It's been 2 days and it's been amazing. We'll see where we go from here with the rest of the week.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how we fill the time now.
I just thought maybe I could try to film you in one of the spots.
We'll see what we can make happen.
Yeah.
It'll be hard to follow up such a smoke shot like that. But
You set me up in a heck of a spot. That was 20 yards. I didn't have to range it. I didn't have to think. All I had to do was get drawn back, and it worked out perfect.
Quick recovery, my kind of track job.
Yeah, 100 yards. That dart and bow did a fantastic job. I can't wait to hopefully get to use that a little bit more, but pretty cool first one with that.
Yeah, it's going to be a match between me and Kyla to see who's next on the board.
On this trip, Kyla had volunteered to watch our puppy Shadow, while Will and I hunted. However, with a full 5 days to hunt remaining, we shifted gears and purchased Kyla a West Virginia hunting license to see if she could notch a tag as well. My primary responsibility shifted to Camp Icekeeper, but this gives me an opportunity to answer a commonly asked question: do I eat the animals that I hunt in these videos? And the answer is yes. The intent every time I fire a shot is to put meat on the table. While I finish adding ice to the other coolers, let's catch up with Kyla on her surprise evening sit.
What's up, guys? So it's October 11th, and TJ got his buck this morning, and I was not planning on doing any kind of hunting in West Virginia because we brought our dog and I had to watch her and whatever. So of course he got a buck this early in. We're here till Saturday, so we still have at least like 4 or 5 days. I can't remember. And instead of being really complicated, since I'm going out by myself, I didn't want to deal with all the camera stuff because it is just too complicated for me. So I'm actually sitting on the ground and I have some brush in front of me. I'm past where the stand is, and last year I saw them up on this hill and they were walking down, and there's like a little, what's that called, like a ridge, I guess you could say. They went down it. So if I could just at least see that, that'd be pretty epic. But yeah, I'm just here for fun.
Unfortunately, Kyla's hunt would end with no deer sightings. From there, we decided that Kyla would continue to hunt the evenings, but that I would hunt mornings, as West Virginia's fall turkey season was in as well. Plus, it turns out waking up at 5 a.m. is a little harder to do than sleeping in.
Well, for the rest of this trip now, anytime that I get to hunt, it's going to be turkeys from the ground. And I'll be honest, I didn't plan for that too much. So, luckily, Will let me use this little half blind. I think it'll help us at least kind of hide the movement for filming and maybe getting drawn back. But we're actually only set up probably 175 yards from where we shot the buck yesterday. There's 3 roads just where the grass is cut real low here in the fields that kind of convene right in front of us. So I'm thinking if any turkeys come up here at all, they're likely to pass right through here. So fingers crossed, we'll see what happens. I'd much rather be out here doing this than heading home earlier, sitting back at camp. So maybe we'll get lucky. I think the birds might have got the wrong memo. We're after turkey
after several days of neither turkeys nor deer cooperating for Kyla and I, we switched it up for an evening. Kyla wasn't feeling well, so Will and I decided to hunt together, with me behind the camera.
Well, we're back out. It's Friday, October 14th. Had a pretty good morning this morning. It was really cold, low 30s starting out. A lot of deer movement, and then things died off midday, and the wind really picked up. So we're strapped into the tree, hoping everything stays pretty calm, or calms down, because it's not calm at the moment. But we're out here in a low saddle of a nice oak flat that's got quite a few heavy rubs on it, a few semi-fresh scrape lines. Been running some cameras in this area for a few months now and getting some steady deer pictures, so we think the deer are here. It's just a matter if they're going to show up in daylight or not. As you can tell, the wind's pretty wicked today, so we're just hoping that it gets them on their feet a little bit and we can hear them coming when they do. So strap in and see what happens, I reckon.
Just so we're clear, this guy, just because he's on your screen today, might be an honorary meat hunter temporarily, but as far as I'm concerned, that's a permanent. Just saying.
Before long, Will caught movement down the hill below us. I should note, Will and his family typically avoid taking does at this property due to its proximity to the highway. That itself claims quite a few does every year, so we watch as they do their thing all around the stand. As dusk approaches, the wind dies down, and the hunt gets interesting as Will spies antler moving our direction.
Probably a 2-year-old. It's probably one of the 8s from the trail camera. He's just munching on a huge branch. Yeah.
As the buck gets closer, we confirm that it is indeed a 2-year-old, and Will elects to pass him. the bucks would ultimately walk off just before dark. No arrows sent airborne on this hunt, but we still came away feeling successful. The first time Will and I had ever hunted together, and we managed to communicate effectively with deer on all sides to keep each other from getting busted in what was a fairly wide open set. On our last day of the trip, Kyla headed out early, encouraged by the deer sign from our hunt the night before.
Back again, so it's October 15th, I had to think of that one, and I didn't hunt the last day or so because I kind of felt defeated. I'm not seeing anything, so today is actually like the last day we're hunting. Well, I'm hunting in West Virginia, so I wanted to be out here pretty early just in case. It's 3 o'clock. I'm expecting to sit here and chill. I'm actually in the stand that TJ and Will sat in last night, just in hopes of anything. And yeah, we came down and we put the pretty much self-filming stuff up for me earlier today, and we did see, I think, a doe and 2 fawns that were like literally at the stand. So I don't think we spooked them too much. They were kind of on their way anyway, but we'll see. I don't know. That's so cool. She came from behind me on my right side, and I didn't know. I literally thought it was a squirrel. And then I look in the corner of my eye, and I try to record, turn the camera on and everything, but it's hard to, not be so noticeable, even though you are up in a tree. She could easily see my shadow moving, and she was a little curious at first, but that's a good sign. It's early and they're moving, so fingers crossed.
Despite all the deer movement, Kyla's evening hunt would end watching does and fawns feed all around the stand.
Before I head out and before it gets too dark, I just wanted to say, even though I didn't kill anything on this trip, I had a blast. It was frustrating at times, but I really do enjoy watching nature do its thing and just listening around and stuff like that. I saw so many does. It was crazy. So I guess we'll see how West Virginia treats me next year. And fingers crossed for the rest of the season.
Fortunately, it is cold enough to have a fire tonight. I said it 1,000 times last year. It was like, it's so hot. It's so hot. We actually saw deer, but even though it's so hot, we saw deer. And this week, looking ahead at the schedule, I was like, okay, this is going to be a good week. It's going to be a nice, cool week. And they were moving.
We saw darn near every day one of us saw a buck.
I believe so. Yep. Seemed to be a lot of young ones, but
yeah,
antler's antler. So.
That's for sure. The 2-year-old last night. Was tempting.
That was. If we hadn't had pictures of him on camera, I think it would have taken me longer to decide that I was gonna let him go on through. But like you said, that characteristic D2, it was. Oh yeah, we know that buck. We've seen him. Not really my cup of tea. Let him live another day.
Yeah. I think in the grand scheme of things that was the right choice, but coming through the woods, like when looking at us in particular, like that's a nice frame for a 2-year-old.
I'm tickled to death that you were able to get one, man. That was awesome. That was cool to be a part of, to be able to roll up and get to be on that track. That was
neat. I want to get a picture of you coming off the buggy, because that was the coolest thing, being not the only one thrilled about it.
Yeah, man, that was my mentality going into this week. If anybody killed a deer, that was a success.
Yeah,
so.
That's the way to look at it. And I got to thank you for all the work of setting everything up and getting things down here, and your dad for setting up that particular stand, getting to talk to him today. That was really cool. Yeah, man. Well, we appreciate you coming down, and glad that particular stand was the one that you made it happen. Last year was probably top 5 craziest stories that I've ever heard. A series of events that happened from that particular spot last year, and to have it happen again, that specific spot was pretty cool, man. From the moment that we left last year, I was hoping to get another opportunity to come down, and like you said, that particular stand, I've been looking forward to sitting in there in the morning again. Couldn't have rode it any better. No, not at all. And that's pretty cool. It was about the same time last year, but again, the weather was just completely different. Yeah. We were down here the same week of October, but the average must have been 25 degrees colder. Yeah, it's funny because I feel like this year everything's thicker in the woods still. Everything's it's not as open. That place was a little bit more brushed in. It's a little less shooting lanes than maybe the buck that come through last year. And it's been tough to send a shot at the coyote had the coyote been in the same spot or anything come through. Yeah, I'm not sure I could have. 2 deer came up out of there the first morning, I think, and it was thicker. Yeah. I'm glad you got to see some deer tonight too.
It's about time.
Yeah.
Had to take a breather because, I'm still learning. I can't expect to see something every single time. So.
Well, this place will spoil you though. It'll kind of make it, if you don't see at least a few, you are disappointed. So. There is no doubt. We've mentioned it between today and this whole week quite a few times. It is a special place. Yeah. Yes, sir, it is. And like you said, I got to thank my parents. They've turned this place from what it was a year ago to now. It's just even better a place to come and relax, kick back, and get away for a few days. So it's been a fantastic trip. Obviously, killing a deer makes a heck of a difference, but I could have seen no shooter bucks and still had just as much fun. Well, you're walking away with a full cooler, nice head. Caught you a nice fish today. Yeah, that was nice. That's a good way to end it. That was. I really got to thank you and Kyla and Shadow for coming down and making this week really enjoyable. Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Anytime. Hopefully this is kind of a yearly tradition. Maybe next year maybe your turn. There you go. Maybe my turn. We'll see.
All 3?
Rut buck hunting for whitetail is awesome, but there is something very special about getting out the middle of October when the woods are still kind of doing their everyday ho-hum, just survive. Yeah. To get out there and be able to spend a little time amongst nature and come away with a successful harvest, that's pretty cool. That's pretty unique. I haven't made
as big a deal out of it as it is to me, like just personally. But to get my first buck on film with a bow, that's a huge thing. Like from the moment I, hauled a camera up into a tree 4 years ago, that's what I wanted to do. For it to happen down here, and just
for it to be such a smoke shot, such good footage. From what I've seen, it looks incredible.
I'm really, really happy with the way it worked out. That's about the only spot in there that I could have filmed it as well as I did, and I believe you called it poetic justice back there at the
there
that day.
There we go. That's the way to frame that for sure. So can't wait to see what Isaac can do to the skull. That one's going to look good on the wall.
I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, that's going to look great. So hopefully Shadow does pretty good on the way home, and the Steelers can somewhat show up tomorrow.
Make that trip shorter.
Oh no, we're making it longer.
It's not quite as sad. I feel like we were out of bow things pretty well.
Yeah,
I think I said out everything that I want to say. I really want to thank my parents. That was my thing.
I'll make sure that I get that in there. I'm gonna go ahead and stop these.